Okay, let's turn that black. Alright then, let's learn about the history of the Zuid-African flag. Also, I did promise chat free cookie, so here you go. Free cookie being tossed your way. Where's the play button? Oh wait, no, hold on. I'm also doing good. That's awesome to hear, man.
This is the flag of South Africa. As you
Let me
can
know if the
see,
volume's
South
good.
Africa's flag has 6 colours, and when it was adopted in 1994, it was the only flag in the world to have 6 colours. There are
That
quite
is
a few
true.
parts to this flag. In the middle, you have a green Y shape, which separates a red, white and blue horizontal tricolour
True.
from a gold-lined black triangle. Now, what are all
It is
these
a pretty
pieces
neat
of
flag.
the South African flag, and what's the significance behind it? Well, let's find out. The red, white and blue tricolour that is found actually comes from the Dutch flag, which is this beautiful specimen in front of you. Now, why is the Dutch flag secretly hidden in the South African flag? Well, that's because in 1652, the founder of Cape Town, the first city in what's now South Africa, was none other than the VOC's Jan van Riebeeck, and he, as you can see from the nice flag in the painting there, was a Dutchman. However, there's
Yeah,
more to this
and
story.
after the
Now, the
Dutchmen,
colour
then
that's
came the
used on the South
Afrikaners.
African flag isn't the same as the Dutch colour used in the Dutch flag, and it's actually
I actually didn't know this. Okay, this is news to me.
a mixture between the orange of the Dutch flag called the Prince
Can I ask you something? No.
Vlag and the red on the Union Jack of Great
The
Britain,
answer's no.
as the British also took over the Cape Colony in 1814. When the British did take over, many of the Dutch-speaking inhabitants of the Cape Colony trekked further inland, and these people became known as the Boers in what became
Yeah, and then the trek that they went on is called the Great Trek.
known as the Great Trek, because
Ah, never mind. He mentioned it first.
there were a lot of them. It was pretty great, and they trekked far away, which is actually a word from Afrikaans in the English language. In the interior of South Africa, the Boers made some independent Boer republics, as well as making some flags to go with them. So here on the left you see the flag of the Oranje Vrystaat, which means
I think this one was called the Vierkleur, which means four color, if I'm not mistaken.
the Orange Free State, and on the right of the Suid-Afrikaanse Republiek, the South African Republic. Now the Boers also founded some other smaller and short-lived republics, all with a similar sort of flag design in mind, but remember these two for later. Even though the Boers lost the Second Boer War against the British from 1899 to 1902, the flag still remained important, and when South Africa went independent, their first flag design featured both of them on there, as well as the orange, which was part of the Prinsenvlag of the Dutch royalty. So, what about the rest of the South African flag? Well, the rest of the South African flag has a lot of its design and colours to thank the ANC for. Now, the ANC was the African National Congress,
In other words, the scoundrels that currently rule us today.
and was the main party opposed to apartheid in South Africa from the early 1930s up until the 1990s. The ANC's flag is this specimen in front of you here, which has the Pan-African colours apart from red on it, which are black, green and yellow. Now if we look at the South African flag, we see the green is in the Y shape, we have the yellow in the little band on the inside of that, and finally the black, so you can see that the ANC's colours were on there. So why did the designer of the South African flag, Frederick Brownell, go to these lengths to include both of these designs on the
Probably just for, you know, a symbol of unity.
flag? Well, in 1994, when the apartheid government ended and Nelson Mandela became the president of South Africa, there were deep divisions between the black and the white communities in South Africa. However, with this new flag, including both the colonial heritage and the representation of the African community in South Africa, both people were represented on the flag, and this was trying to show that South Africa as a rainbow nation would move forwards. Even if you turn this on its head, it looks a little bit like a peace symbol. So you see that the black and the yellow of the Africans and
It's actually a pretty neat flag design. Although, I've seen better ones, but this one's pretty good.
red, white and blue of the Europeans can work together in South Africa. Or at least that was what the flag was meant to show. And if you go to Cape Town still, then you can see in the castle or the fortress in Cape Town all the flags from left to right: the modern flag of South Africa, the apartheid flag of South Africa, the modern flag of Great Britain, the modern flag of the Netherlands, the old flag of Great Britain, and finally the Prinsenvlag of the Netherlands. So yeah, thank you very
Cool.
much for watching
We've
this
flown
video
a
about
few
the
flags in this
flag of
country.
South Africa and some of the older flags used in South Africa. I found this quite interesting. I do quite a few videos about South Africa and thought, why
Yeah, we
not
should
do
give
the
him a
flag,
like.
because it's a good representation of the history. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'm History with Hilbert. Don't forget to check out any other videos that I've made that might interest you, and press the big thumbs up, and
Already
don't
done,
forget to
bro.
subscribble.
Subscribble. That is probably the most interesting word for subscribe I've ever seen. Yeah, subscribble. Definitely already subscribed to this guy. Alright, a link will be in the description in my Discord, because my copy face feature... Actually, wait, let me check if my copy face feature still works.